dish is massively traditional and hails from northern China and totally different from the Cantonese style of cooking that most are used to. Having said that though, this is massively popular in the United States. Or what is that, Ma?
It's Moo Shu pork.
Or
Moo Shu roll.
you forgot to speak Chinese for a second there, didn't you? We'll get on with the recipe. So we've got some cloud mushrooms here. Traditionally wood ear mushrooms are used, but Mum prefers these cloud mushrooms. They're very similar looking. Ugh! What happened then? They're very similar looking, except these have like a more of a
Softer texture.
yeah, and a veiny pattern on the outside, whereas the wood ears are slightly
bigger
and flatter.
Yeah.
But it's the same process to do for the same thing. So all we're going to do with this,
Pour some hot water onto it to rehydrate it.
yeah, boiling hot,
Yeah, boiling hot.
and this small amount will puff up low.
Right out. Yeah. You think it's very little, but when it's puff up, there's a lot.
And then we're just going to,
About 15 minutes.
yeah, and then drain them, and that's it. So this is what they look like after about 15 minutes after being hydrated. You can see it's the same amount, and they've literally
Puff up, swell
nearly
up.
tripled in size.
Yeah, because it's soft.
Yeah.
Like a cloud. A bunch of cloud.
I wouldn't say cloud. A bit baggy, to be honest. But yeah, I can see what you mean. I can see cloud, yeah.
Cloud.
Okay, I can see because it's like fluffy. Here are the two different types. So this is the ear mushrooms that are normally used, and this is the cloud mushrooms that we use today. They're actually both from the same genus, just different species. So this is Auriculara hymula, or hymula, I'm not really sure how to pronounce it. And this is Auricula cornea.
Okay. This one is harder and take longer time to cook, and this one is softer.
Yeah. So if you're going to be using this, you want to soak them for about 5 more minutes. But 15 minutes actually is enough, to be honest.
Yeah, but then it take longer to cook. Normally we cook that in a stew.
Yeah.
That one like in a stir fry.
Yeah. But this is a stir fry, so we're using these.
Yeah.
But most people use these. We're not going to do anything other than cook these whole. You can chop them up if you want, so they're slightly smaller. But we just think they're going to be nicer whole.
Yes, you get the whole piece.
Yeah. So we've got some spring onions here. We're just going to take off the bits we don't want, like the dry bits. And trim the tops. And then we're going to want to cut these in sort of like inch battens. Doorbell. I'm going to have to go see who that is. Hold on. Amazon. And what's annoying, no one ever normally comes around this time. And then when we've got these, we're just going to half these big thick stalks here. And you just literally half it.
Yeah, that's what we say. Half it, we're gonna half it.
Doesn't matter if you've still got some that are whole. That's that. Those are those spring onions. Now we are going to rinse these through to get rid of any sand that's in the middle here. Good practice when you're using spring onions. Traditionally, they would have used what are these, Ma?
Bamboo shoot.
Yeah, but nowadays, especially in the States, they use a lot of cucumber. So we're going to be using both actually, just because of the variation of the texture and flavour of this, and also cooked cucumber is actually quite delicious. So
Yes.
because that was, you were really into, yes!
Yes.
Yeah, so we're going to be using both. These obviously have just come from a tin, so we don't need to do any prep to those whatsoever. The cucumber, on the other hand, we do. So we're just going to cut a chunk of this cucumber, and then we're going to peel it. And you just want to sort of roughly peel it, sort of to get like a different colours.
Colour of it, yes.
If you want, you can actually peel it all over, so it's all this colour all the way through, but we just...
I think a bit of green and other texture colour would be good.
Yeah, it's nice for the eye.
Yes.
Let's take the top end off. Then we're going to half it. I'm going to take the seeds out.
Oh, we call it heart.
Or the heart. You
Yes.
call it the heart, yeah?
Yes. Yeah.
And we're just going to scrape them out
Yeah.
until you're just left with like the hard flesh.
It's crazy, isn't it? That's amount of water in a liquid whole.
Yeah. They are part of the watermelon family.
Yeah?
Yeah. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
No.
The Asian cucumber are slightly different colour. They're a bit more lighter. And there's another type is
They're
big
fatter as
one.
well, yeah.
But the colour is like earthy colour.
Yeah. I mean, there isn't much you can do with this, really.
You got guinea pig or rabbit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say you could play a really cruel prank and pretend to sneeze and throw this at someone. That would be really cruel.
Oh yeah.
Other than that, there's not much you can do.
No.
I mean, if
But
you got,
someone would think about it.
I was going to say, if you got a suggestion, comment there below. And then with the cucumber, we're just going to come in at a 45-degree angle to make them larger, if that makes sense. Just like you do with meat. Doesn't matter how thick or thin you have these, it's just whatever you fancy. Now that's done, we're going to go on to velveting the pork. So we've got some pork shoulder steaks here. If you can get collar or neck, that's even better. But this is all we have available to us locally, so that's what we're using. We've never actually done velveting pork on the channel before. It's essentially the same as most things. Yeah. So we want to leave the fat on.
Yes.
And we're going to find, well, the grain obviously goes this way.
Yeah.
So when you're cutting a steak, you really want to try and angle your knife so that you go through the grain top ways. So to this, we're going to use our velveting agent.
Soda bicarb.
Bicarbonate of soda, yeah.
Yes.
Which again, when you've watched our channel a lot, we've been using it for years. Actually, since we started 8 years ago now. Yeah. We've always velveted it this way. If you use a tiny amount, you don't need to wash it off. The amounts will be below in the description, so don't worry about that.
Salt. Hashtag MSG massive. Bit of light soy.
You can use dark soy for this, but that will colour the pork and make it look dark and almost beef-like. If you like that, add it.
Go ahead.
Yeah. If you don't, then don't. But we're using light soy just for the soy flavour and the saltiness.
Yes, and it retains the colour as well, the pork colour.
Then we've got some
potato starch.
Yeah.
Garlic powder. Pinch of white pepper.
Very small amount.
Yes, sesame oil this time.
Yeah. One of the only times in sort of like traditional cooking we will marinate with sesame oil. In takeaways, not really. Again, because the flavour doesn't go with everything, so it can clash with certain flavours. So you need your meat to essentially be as neutral tasting as possible. But for this recipe, because it's a traditional one, we will be adding sesame oil. But we wouldn't marinate or velvet pork using the sesame oil every time. It's just in this particular dish. And we're just going to mix this up. Just so you know, this is the only time we'll be using sesame oil in this dish. You just want a slight hum of it, and you'll get that with the marinade in this. Adding too much is almost going to ruin what you've built, because there aren't many flavours other than the actual vegetables that are going into this. That's done. I'm going to leave this for 20 minutes. You can use it straight away if you want, but allow 20 minutes to let that bicarb do its thing. Overnight for the best flavour, obviously. So we're going to need to crack an egg into a bowl.
You started to season it.
Yeah, just a touch of salt. And again, a touch of MSG. And then you're just going to whisk this. And you want to whisk it well.
Oh, the white's gone.
So there we go, that's nicely whisked. So we want to cook this egg off, and we're just going to throw in some lard. Let that melt and get hot. Lard really does make a massive difference when you're cooking as well.
Yes.
It makes it taste so much better. Obviously, you don't have to use lard. You can use
vegetable oil.
Any neutral flavoured oil you want.
Yeah. Whatever cooking oil you like. But not olive oil.
Yeah. Or sesame oil. Because sesame oil, the stuff that you use to flavour things with, that's flavoured in your noodles and stuff, that's got a very low smoke point and burns. Now, there is a misnomer. Well, you can use sesame oil to deep fry and cook with, but it's not brilliant because, again, even the refined sesame oil has a relatively low smoking point, so again, that can burn. But refined sesame oil doesn't actually really have a flavour, and it's much lighter in colour. When this is hot, you can tell it's hot because it starts smoking. Yeah. And we're going to add an egg and turn, and this will make lovely ribbons. We want to brown this off so it gets a nutty flavour. When your egg's done, you're just going to
put it to one side.
Yeah. And you can reuse your wok that we just used. Again, with some lard in here. So when that lard is nice and hot, we're going to do what, Ma?
Put in the marinated pork.
Yeah. And when we put that pork in, we're just going to let it sit for 10-15 seconds. Not so crucial in a non-stick wok, but massively crucial in a carbon steel wok. Now when that's sat, we're just going to flick it over. Break it up a little, and then let it sit again. Continue doing that sitting and flicking until your pork has nicely browned off. That's looking nicely browned, or brown enough I should say. And we're just going to throw in some of our cucumber and spring onions. Also add just a touch of salt, not much, and of course what now? Now when these are nearly done, we're going to throw in our fungus, Chinese rice wine, light soy sauce, oyster sauce. I'm just going to cook this through. Cook this down a little bit so the water from the soy sauce and the rice wine is slightly reduced. Also, when you're stir frying, a good tip when you're at home is to let the ingredients sit for about 10 seconds each time after you stir them. In a takeaway, we stir and then let it sit for literally 2 or 3 seconds, but we are still letting it sit. We don't constantly turn. And the only reason the time difference is so different at home than it is in the takeaway is literally because the power is more. So we don't have to wait 10-15 seconds, 2 or 3 seconds worth of sitting and then turn.
Yeah.
Get a nice colour on it. Then we're going to add the egg back in. Toss that through. And that is done. So we're just going to dish this out. Doesn't need any other garnish. If you want to, you can obviously garnish whatever you want.
Yeah, I would garnish with fresh cut chili.
Yeah, these look like giant celeries, don't they?
Yeah.
Right, so here it is. I'm not going to try. Do you know what? For you guys, I am going to try a mushroom. For those of you who watch the channel often, you'll know that I can't stand mushrooms.
That is bamboo shoot.
Just pork. It's definitely pork.
Yeah.
So, but you can taste the flavour of the. Oh, bollocks. So you can taste the flavour of the cucumber.
I like it cooked.
Yeah.
The flavour go in there, still get the taste fresh of it.
The bamboo shoots, you can tell, go all the way through it as well. You can taste that bamboo shooty flavour. All works really well. Of course, you can add ginger and garlic into this if you want, but the traditional recipe is done like this, and that's just what we thought we'd show you. Add garlic, ginger, even throw some chilies in there, which we probably will do.
You know what? Sweet corn will go really well with it.
Yeah, sweet corn would.
Sweet corn, yes.
And it's been in China for the last, I think, 600-700 years. Anyway.
But my it's really nice. I like this softer one rather than the harder one. We call it ear fungus. But nowadays, it's all been called the same name now. As I've known it, this one is called cloud fungus because it's softer once you rehydrate it. The other fungus is called ear fungus. It's because it's hard. You know, it's like your ear. That's why it's called the ear fungus. You know, the ear is hard. The white cartilage or whatever you call them. It takes a long time to cook.
Cartilage.
Yeah.
The flavour of sesame oil on there is exactly perfect. You can just taste it. It's not overpowering anything. If anything, it's lifting the other flavours up. It's working rather than when people whack loads of sesame oil in. Which again, some of you like, fine, but just try it subtly and then you'll be able to tell loads of different flavours are in a dish rather than just one major flavour. It's about balance. That's what cooking is about. Well, actually, cooking is about what you like, but I'd say majority of people, when they eat food, they like balance.
The egg tastes better cooking with lard.
Or way better.
Guys, how do you hold your rice bowl?
Here we go. This is Mum's real big bugbear. Go on.
Nowadays, people hold a rice bowl like this. But obviously, my hand is not big enough. How are you going to hold it like this? Isn't it? You can feel the strength on the whole of your arm because you're holding it wrong. Well, there's no right way or wrong way to hold it, but you would normally hold it like this. You put your forefinger in here, one thumb here, you rest your bowl on your forefinger and hold it with your thumb and you eat it like this.
Yeah, you can tell the newer generation from the younger generation.
They hold it like this.
Because they'll hold it like this.
Yeah.
And that, like with their hands.
Your hand got locked, your wrist got locked, you cannot turn your wrist.
But if you watch the older generation, they hold it like this.
Yeah.
It's more poised, and it's all you're doing is holding it up rather than clamping on it. That is the proper way. We shouldn't, but we do judge people who hold it like this. We're in a restaurant, look at them, they're all in the bowl. If you meet us and we're eating, and we see you doing that, and you've watched this video, shame on you.
When we were young, we hold it like that.
You'd get told off, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get a chopstick. Or, even worse is, eating it like this.
Yeah. And that's another thing. Sorry. People always go, how do you eat rice with chopsticks? I'll show you. So you get a bit of your meat, right? We don't eat like this. You always see Westerners trying to eat their rice like that. We put it on here and we shovel it.
Yeah.
Also, when they do this, when you hold it like that,
You can't scoop
you
your
can't
rice.
scoop your rice. Well, you can, but look, it just looks. Look, how weird does that look? Look like you're trying to drink your rice. So that's why we hold it like that. The bowl is our spoon.
Yeah.
That's why it's so small. This is really nice with steamed rice, but it would work well with anything: noodles, fried rice, whatever you want. Ma, anything else you want to say?
You caught me in a moment.
Pork is super tender.
Yes. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like buttons, comments. Thank you very much. Happy cooking, happy eating.
Until next time, bye. Oh, videos every Wednesday. And our first cookbook, as of right now, which is February, is a pre-order. It's not here until end of March, beginning of April. We can't make it any clearer. It's in the title. Some people are still missing this. It's even in massive writing on the picture as well. But it's not in yet. It's pre-order after selling out in December, okay? The second cookbook is in stock right now.
If you want to know where to get the book, just comment below. We'll link everything to you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Happy cooking, happy eating.
Bye.